So you can use all of these low fire glazes in combination with each other most of the time. Most of the time you're not going to run into any problems. So like I said, when it comes time to glaze the inside of your vessel, you're going to glaze the inside with our shop glaze. It's just the fastest, easy, cheapest way to do it. And then the outside of your vessel, you're going to glaze either with shop glaze as well if you want, or our commercial, any of the commercial products. You just need to make sure they're going to go work together well. And so you may need to touch base with Richard or Tom, but 9 times out of 10 they'll be fine. But you should always read the directions. And so generally, as a general rule of thumb, commercial glazes are usually cone 06, which as you can see, cone 06 is a much lower temperature than 04. And so remember, our shop glazes are all 04. So most of our glazes that we're going to run out of the shop are going to be 04. We glaze almost everything at 04 unless specifically told otherwise. So I'm actually going to write that down. Okay, so that's important to know. It's important to know that we almost always glaze fire to cone 04. If you're going to use commercial glazes, you can still use them in combination. Most commercial glazes are fine at 04. You don't run into a lot of problems. But some are very specific. And so that's where you're going to want to talk to Tom, because we have a lot of experience with this, me, Tom, or Richard, and we can guide you. But some are very specific, like I said. So this is a Mako Classic Crackles, and so always read the directions. It says shake well, apply 3 coats to shelf cone 04 bisque. So it means that your bisque piece should have been cone fired to 04. And then it says let it dry and fire to shelf cone 06 or 05. So this tells you that you want to fire it between these 2 temperatures. You can fire it to 06 or 05. If you fire it to cone 04, which is a higher temperature, you're not going to get the crackles. So you'll be very disappointed. These are the pewter glazes. They look like bronze or iron or all sorts of metal. There are metal glazes. This one's called bronze patina. And so this says mix well, apply 3 coats, fire to cone 04. So this says 04 specifically. So if you fire it to a lower fire temperature like cone 06, it might not do what you want it to do. So again, you can ask us and we can give you good advice. So these here, right here, are underglazes. It says shake well or stir. For solid coverage, apply 3 even coats to greenware or bisque. Okay, I will touch on that again later. And then you fire to cone 05 to 04. So you're firing at 05 to 04. This says it doesn't like to be fired at cone 06, but you won't have any problems. We've dealt with a lot of these underglazes. They still work really well at 06. This one says shake well, blah, blah, blah. And then this says fire to shelf cone 06 or 05 can be fired at higher temperatures. So this actually says it can be fired at higher temperatures, which we have a lot of experience with and know that a lot of these colors will go at a much higher temperature. So firing at cone 04 for almost everything is not a problem, but some of these specialty glazes, it is a problem. So you do really need to kind of check with us and make sure that it's going to work out for you. So there really are quite a lot of options when you glaze for low fire. And so to sort of simplify, I can give you some recommendations of what students are the most successful with. So for sure, I always recommend glaze inside of your vessel with the shop glaze. We generally don't glaze the inside of our vessels with commercial glazes because they're so expensive. So glaze inside of your vessel with the shop glaze. And then when it comes time to glaze the outside of your vessel, either air gun it with the shop glaze or brush it on with either commercial glazes or commercial underglazes. And I will do a demo on both of those. What students struggle with the most is when they brush patterns and decorations on with these shop glazes, just because they're tricky to handle. They take a little bit more experience to be really successful. Commercial glazes and commercial underglazes are almost foolproof. Are almost foolproof. So I recommend finishing your vessel with either the Underglazes or the Glazes, and you'll be pretty darn happy with it for the most part. Or if you want, you can air gun one solid color, or you can do an ombre, a fade from one color to the next with the commercial glazes, and I'll show you how to do that as well. We never put any of these things into the air guns. When you air gun your glaze onto your piece, 75–90% of the material goes into the air, and so it's a big waste of money. You can use an airbrush, which is not an air gun, and I teach the airbrush to individual students that are interested. It's not difficult, but it's a little bit more laborious, and you have to really want to do it, and there needs to be a good reason why you're using the underglazes as opposed to the glaze. I mean, it's just a strong aesthetic reason, and there are reasons for doing that. So we can help guide you through that. But those are my recommendations. Either air gun or brush your pieces on with these here.